Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here with our weekly hot takes. Oh, are you ready for it to get hot? Are you ready for it to get so hot? I hope so. I hope it doesn't get too hot though, because I got my wife is doing an important call in the next room. So if I get too hot and I get all fired up, it's going to get wild in here. I asked some folks over in the comment thread, what are some things that are on your mind? So I've got a collection of pre-submitted comments, as my friend Jesse Adventures sent over to us, as well as I'll take yours from the live chat. Let's get together and do our weekly chat. Didn't do it last week because 4th of July and freedom. Took a much needed weekend off, but I'm so happy to be here talking to each of you guys about Disneyland for the week and see what's going on. Let's just jump right into our first one. Jesse Adventure says, do you think at D23 they're going to announce a return of Magic Happens parade? Do you think they would add new units like a Kanto to the parade? I will say this. I could see Magic Happens returning, or any live events happening, to be the type of low-hanging fruit that they make a big deal out of when the park for D23. Because as I feel for the parks panel, they're going to have a hard time really kind of figuring out what all they can fit in with the budget coming out of the last couple of years. So the video that I did where I sort of did my D23 predictions, my expectations are pretty low. And I didn't really get into anything that they're going to possibly do for the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Corporation, just because I almost feel like that's a second tier of, celebration, party type things. When I think about the parks panel, I think about real solid announcements. So Jesse, I could see them saying that Magic Happens is coming back, and I could see them making a big deal out of that. And that's an easy thing for them to do. They already own it. The parade is already figured out. Like, they know the performance piece that needs to be done. They would have to just rehire parade actors, parade performers, and get everybody up to speed to do it again. Would they add something new to it? No, because really the parade was only in the park for what, 2 or 3 weeks? So adding something new to it, I don't think that it's necessary, because not that many people have seen it. It's not like you're trying to, get a new reason for people to come out and see Main Street Electrical Parade when they've seen it hundreds of times. So adding something new to that was necessary. Also sort of maybe adjusting that parade to stay out of the current political turmoil was a smart move on their part. So I would say there is a chance that it could get announced. Anything major different to it, I'm going to say no. All right, there we go. There was our first hot take. Thank you so much, Jesse, for saying that. My friend Gary saying, I'm ready for the hot takes. Scary Gary says the Magic Happens announcement of D23 has been on my mind for a while. Oh, well, maybe for a couple of years, would you say, Gary? Would you say for a couple of years? I don't know. Magic Happens was a great parade. Really enjoyed it. Its alignment with 2020 couldn't have been more horrible for that fantastic parade. So if it doesn't come back, it will go down in the history books as one of the most bizarre things, where 10 years from now it's like, oh, you say that you saw Magic Happens, but you didn't really see it. You only heard a rumor about it from a guy that knew a dog that once saw it, because the amount of people that saw Magic Happens had to have been very, very tiny, because it was only running for a few weeks. And what doesn't look good for Magic Happens, I believe the official videos have been removed from the Disney Parks YouTube channel. So that is a little suspect, if you will. Larry 562, one of my Club 1313 members. What's up, Larry? Larry and I, some other club members, had a fantastic time meeting up Friday. 10 of us went and saw Thor, Love and Thunder, and then we went to DCA to try to track down Mighty Thor. I shot a little vlog that hopefully I'm going to get out tomorrow, so you'll get to tag along and see what a 1313 club member night looks like. Larry says Magic Happens at night is a different vibe. 100%. Mickey Soundsational was really designed to be a daytime parade, and it was a true daytime parade. It didn't look like anything at night. But Magic Happens was a great parade to see during the day. But when you caught that second performance near sunset, It really came to life. Not full on Main Street Electrical Parade nighttime, or what I say is the GOAT. You know what I'm talking about. You know the one I'm talking about. I don't know the one that I'm talking about because I forgot the name. 60th anniversary parade. Help me out here. When can we see you again? Do, 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 do. What is that? Paint the Night. That's Live Brain. Paint the Night, I think, is the all-time great. And Main Street Electrical, those are for sure designed for the evening hours. Magic Happens was somewhere in between. It was a great sunset parade, we'll say. Love it. Love it. Mikey Stain says, wait, I heard they auctioned off the floats during COVID to keep the lights on. Maybe. And that might be the reason why I'm not inviting you to my backyard, because when you see what I bought from that Disney COVID auction, it's going to blow your mind to see me hanging out on that wizard hat where Brickey stands where Mickey once stood. All right. Let's see here. Paint the Night. Thank you, Carrie, for helping me out. And by the way, speaking of Carrie, I think Carrie had a question that I posted over on the community tab. Carrie says, thoughts or ideas on magic bands coming to Disneyland Resort that was mentioned to be coming in early 22, the delay due to supply issues, any news? I would say the delay is infrastructure, because to bring magic bands to the Disneyland Resort means you have to update maybe not all of the turnstiles or the front gates, but a significant amount of them, because most people like myself, I will 100% switch over to Magic Band technology. There are a lot of things that I got wrong about Walt Disney World before I went there. And I'm always excited to admit when I'm wrong, because that means you had the opportunity to grow as a person. I thought the idea of wearing a corporate shackle was the worst idea ever. Like, oh, I'm going to wear this dumb thing and scan it to spend all my money. I thought it was a horrible idea until I used a magic band. And then within a day, I was like, this is the greatest invention ever. And something else I got wrong about the Magic Kingdom and why I love the magic band so much is I thought, okay, Disneyland is full of repeat customers. People that know to always have their pass ready, or now to have their phone ready to scan into the park. Not true. Many people that have been to the park like 1,000 times walk up to the front gate and go, what am I supposed to be doing? I've never been here before, except for last night and every week since I was 10. And there's a real log jam of getting into the park. And Mikey said phones equal magic bands. That's the announcement. The phone does too many things at once. And sometimes even a phone veteran like myself, or a Disneyland veteran like myself that goes all the time, it's very hard to actively get the pass up. There's an internet delay, or maybe you have a screenshot and you're trying to get to your favorites photo in your albums, which Apple doesn't make easy for you. Nonetheless, even if you're really trying to be on your game, maybe you have it up on your phone and you get a text message or a phone call and you lose it, the magic band is just there and it's ready to rip. So one of the things that I really got wrong about the parks out on the East Coast, they're easy to get into. Disneyland is incredibly more difficult to get into as compared to our East Coast brothers and sisters. You go right in. There's a cast member at every turnstile. They're very easy to assist you in. It even gives you chimes, like if you're a Club 33 member or a DVS member, or they sold limited bands that when you would scan through, it would play, Star Wars, and the colors would go from red to blue. Like, the way to get into the park out there is so superior to the West Coast. So I would guess, Carrie, the main reason why it might take a long time to see magic bands on the West Coast and why they might miss their 2022 is the infrastructure. You'd have to essentially shut down some of the turnstiles, put in the new technology. And think about this. Once you go over to that system, everything has to be updated. Every point of contact has to be updated, whether it's lightning lanes for attractions to places where you buy food, places where you buy merchandise, like every customer interaction point where money or a ticket was once exchanged, hotel rooms, Everything has to be switched over. So we're literally talking millions and millions of dollars. So it'll be interesting to see, do they do it out here in a slow rollout where maybe, if you look at the front gates of Disneyland, I believe it's divided into 3 or 4 major sections. DCA is kind of one long stretch. Would they start out with just having maybe 4 or 5 turnstiles for guests that have Magic Band Plus? It's going to be interesting to see how that rollout looks. Even though our park is more of a locals park, I really hope that technology comes out to the West Coast, because man, it saves so much time. And everybody here knows you're trying to meet friends, you've got reservations for dinner, and you just get stuck behind the people who's like, oh, I don't have a reservation, or I can't find it, or what do you mean that's not me in the photo? Like all the time, I feel like I'm getting stuck behind people that I'm like, oh, this is taking so long. So the hot take on this is that it's probably going to take longer than they said, but you're going to like it more than you anticipate. All right, let's see what's going on over in the chat. In the 80s, it was meant to replace Main Street Electrical Parade. It was a bomb. Oh, I know what you're talking about. See, I just love how I just fall into these cryptic messages. You're talking about that river dance theme parade, Light Magic, which was a complete disaster. That's what you're talking about. See, I coded it. I figured it out. I know what's up. Let's see here. What else do we have? What about Avengers the musical at Hyperion Theater? NorCal guy, what about you stealing my ideas? Because I am campaigning for this so hard. I mean, technically, I want the entire, when you were up at the hub in DCA, once you go through where the old elephant statues used to be and you're in Hollywood land, I want that to be the start of Marvel. And I want to be in Marvel till I do the complete Marvel horseshoe. You heard it here first, which will take you all the way back around to where right now you currently enter into the Avengers campus. I don't need it all to be Avengers campus. Maybe the campus for new recruits is one storyline, and on the other side of where the Hyperion Theater is, that maybe becomes like a City of Heroes or something like that. I don't quite know the name. Not my job to figure it out. But yes, NorCal guy, I would love a theatrical Avengers play to happen in the Hyperion. And even if it's not Steve Rogers the musical that we saw in Hawkeye the Christmas special, what the theater would give the ability to do is bring together things like we saw with Project Exoskeleton, which is where they can take a cast member, put them on stilts, and through these robotic animatronics or robotic, I don't know, prosthetics maybe would be the better term, we can see them bring together the Incredible Hulk or Thanos. And these characters would probably be very hard to be out in the hot sun, walking on the cement, but in a controlled atmosphere, such as a state-of-the-art theater where we can have perfect sight lines and perfect lighting, it'd be very easy to see Thanos or the Hulk or some of these large characters come to life. And also to be able to do, fantastic things like through technology, create portals that Strange could actually go through, and then the set design could spin around and become something else. I think the limit or the possibilities are limitless with doing an Avengers play on the Hyperion Theater. And I hope that that's what we get, not that dirty little snowman coming back. Just a little bit of fire, because I know you're all with me. Peter says, DCA needs a good Broadway show again. I agree. And Avengers music plays would be so cool. Much needed. It'd be awesome. And I think Peter also, Peter wrote me a short story over in the comments. Yeah, a little short story there from Peter. Whoa, slow down, dude. But his real question was, do you believe the Walt Disney Company will ever design another Disney resort in the United States? I'm not sure where you could put another Disney park outside of the United States. Japan is covered. China already has 2 parks, although I can expect both of those resorts to be getting a second gate eventually. Disneyland Paris is enough for Europe, although might be some room for other European Disney resort, but that's a stretch. I would say this. If Disney were to build another park, I think they would do something differently. I think that the world has changed, and in a way that kind of benefits my idea. They already have a destination resort on each side of the country. If you build another resort, you're now competing with yourselves. I mean, there's psychos like me, they're going to go to all of them because you want to experience it all. But pretty much there is a large portion of society that says, I'm a Walt Disney World family. I'm a Disneyland family. A lot of people that come over from Europe prefer Magic Kingdom over Disneyland Paris. Like, the territories are pretty much evenly put together. So if Disney was to do anything else, I envision something that travels. And hear me out on this. As we've seen online retail destroy modern traditional retail in America, we've also seen one of America's greatest pastimes, shopping, be very, very disrupted. And we have all of these malls that are just eroding and decaying all across the country. Social media has created FOMO, fear of missing out. And the reason why the Disney parks are thriving more than ever is because of social media. People want to go there, they want to take photos, they want to share their experience. Or on the other end, they consume social media and they feel like they're missing out because they're not there. They see the new ears, they see the new treats, they see the new attractions, the new shows, and they have to go there. There's now somebody always being like, hey, did you see what's new at Disneyland? That's the way that the park works right now. And I don't think Disney is going to be looking to get away from that anytime soon. So instead of competing against yourself, I believe the future is making mobile experiences through the technology of VR and augmented reality. And I think what Imagineering would probably end up doing before making a new park is make something big, like an installation that can go to Sioux City, or that can go to Minneapolis, or can set up shop in Chicago. And over the span of 2 or 3 months or a month, they can build out this thing. Everybody can go there. They'll get tons of free press, tons of free publicity that will only get the next city more stoked. They'll sell lots of tickets to a core audience of people that maybe have no plans of going to Disney parks. And after they pack it up and they leave you wanting more. So even though you might not get as many people from Chicago going to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, what you will get after it leaves town is like, man, Disney's pretty magical. We had a lot of fun. Maybe it's time to put another vacation in the books and go to one of the Disney parks we identify with the most. So I kind of think the idea of building something that's permanent is a older idea because what they already have is doing so well. But the idea of building something new that can go to all the people and fill up all the markets in between and capture a new customer that you can then convert into a long-term customer, I think that is where the future of the parks lies. Warming it up in here. Do you think Disney has a saturation of its product or hit a saturation? Absolutely not. I think that the synergy of the Walt Disney Corporation is far from market saturation. Now, different sectors people might tire out on, but the beauty of owning so many different things gives you the ability to go the long haul. So, as we've seen, they don't really know what they're doing when it comes to making Star Wars movies. So they're not making any. They're cutting their teeth over on Disney Plus, trying to figure out what works, and then they'll move it back over to the big screen. All of the entertainment offerings is an audition for what to put in the parks, and everything that they make is an audition for selling merchandise. I think that they have made their company so diverse that there's always going to be a sector that's hot, some sectors that are just kind of meh in the middle, and some that are cool. So what you do is you double down on the hot ones, try to build new ones to push in there. The ones that are kind of not doing so hot, you let them cool off because nostalgia always comes back around. I think they are far from their market saturation, and I think becoming so diverse is how they did that. Because let's say people get tired of Marvel. Nobody's seen an X-Men movie in a while. They could dust that off the old Fox shelf and then make some X-Men. So many of the classic cartoons, they went through them all and they made live action versions, which buys time to go back around to make more animated versions. There's a lot of milk we can squeeze out of these teats. So hot. All right, let's see here. I had a super chat. Had two of them. Oh, the dreaded green super chat that nobody can see. Oh, the dreaded green super chat. Keep crushing the hot takes fire. Thank you so much, Fowler's Harbor. I appreciate that. And then I had another super chat from Michael Morrow. Michael Morrow says, late to the party here, but hope you're doing well. Thank you, bud. I appreciate it. As you guys may have seen in my Friday video, I had a rough week last week. So I went out and I was like, I just don't feel like filming an update video this week. So I shot a brief little like, hey, I'm not feeling it. Don't want to force it. There's not a lot going on. You guys already know it. So let's just rip around and catch the vibe. And I did it. And so many of you were so sweet and so nice to me. And it really, really touched me to see the support that this little baby channel has from the community that it's building. So thanks a lot. Don't want to dwell on it though. Look at that. See, this is Club 1313. They're thanking other people for the super chats when they see that I'm on one of my rips. Love it. Okay. This is where me and my homie Gary are going to butt heads. Gary helps me out with my news videos. He's my researcher. We work together on the news videos. Fantastic guy. But we are good friends that sometimes have opposite opinions. But in reality, Disney just needs to make another park in Florida to compete against Universal. This is what I think about Universal. I want to give a shout out to my friend Dylan over at Theme Park Obsession. Dylan made a really great home news video where he was saying, what will Disney do to Epic Universe? I watched the video. I enjoyed the video. I think you should watch the video. And I think Gary, like many park fans, is thinking about, oh, Epic Universe is coming. It's time for Disney to make a move. And I say, Gary, you are half right, but you are half wrong. Because what I believe Disney is going to do, if we look back at the corporation historically, they let Universal make a move, and then they wait. And then they wait. Because they want to see how the move fully shapes out. So if we look at when they made Witch Boy World, everybody's like, oh, Universal's done it. They outdid themselves. They made Witch Boy World. And what did Disney do? They sat back and they watched. They saw how it worked out and they said, you know what we need to do is we need to hire that guy. And they did. They hired Scott Tollbridge and they designed Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and they built it. But they didn't try to do it before Witch Boy World. They did it on their own timetable. So I would say if Epic Universe does inspire a fifth gate at Walt Disney World, that is a decade away. They will wait. They will study it. They will see how big the threat is. They will do risk management, and then they will make an announcement. I do agree with you. It's going to come, but I think that it's much further away than most people are anticipating. Love Gary. I love having friends that you can debate Disney stuff with. This is sports radio, but it's about a theme park, and no teams are involved. Wade says, Disney's next park will be ultra high-end, extending to the latest theme of targeting to the 1%er, Disney Space Station. Disney Space Station. Ooh, I like that. That's the ultra 1%er, Wade. If they're going to do it in space, that's as 1% as you can get. I love it. AK-47, 1313. What's up, friends? All right, let's see here. You know what I'm talking about. When I say Witch Boy World, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, it's so good. Let's see here. Paul says, are you planning another Walt Disney World trip anytime soon? Your Epcot video made me tear up. Yes, I plan on being out at Epcot for the 40th anniversary. My goal is to kind of go every early spring, every early fall. Twice a year is enough for the channel at this level. Channel gets bigger. I'd love to go out more, but right now that's about what I can justify. Made it to the stream. What smack has been talked so far? You know what? You, Tony Mendez, co-host of my Wednesday Club 1313 only live stream that we do. YouTube records these. You can scrub back to the beginning. Gary is the best. Will they announce anything for Tomorrowland at D23? Oh, friends. My thing is this. I have a video that was supposed to go out last Thursday that will go out this Thursday. It's all about Utopia. And it's about the parcel of land and what Utopia represents and how Utopia has informed Disney on the last decade of land design. Starting with Cars Land, the first land in this modern era that we're in, going over to Pandora, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and Avengers Campus. I say Tomorrowland does not get mentioned for this D23. If they do anything, they're just going to put lipstick on a pig. They're going to make a big deal out of something very small. But Tomorrowland is so fundamentally broken. To fix one piece, you have to fix them all. And the upside is people really love Space Mountain. So you can't really tear out the whole thing because there's something in the middle that people love. But to touch one thing means you got to touch a lot of other things. And I just don't see their spending there right now. But I ask you this question at home. What needs to go in Tomorrowland? And I tell you right now, the answer is, and we talk about this every week, nothing. Nothing needs to go in Tomorrowland. Every major IP is already being represented at the Disneyland Resort. So anything you would put in Tomorrowland would just be a repeat. More Star Wars, more Marvel. Oh, what about WALL-E or Big Hero 6? Come on, man, that's child's play. You're going to build a whole land around that? Get out of here. You disgust me. What they need to do is just hold on to that land and wait until there's something big. Because guess what? God's not making any more Disneyland at Disneyland. They're locked in. This is the last big move Disneyland has. So why repeat or build something you don't need? As much as it pains me, if I was Brickey Chapstick would say, no, we wait. We wait at least a decade. We see what other Imagineering products we come up with. We see what other IP we come up with. What's the next thing that everybody loves? That's what we'll do with our Tomorrowland. But just to do it, absolutely not. Makes no sense. And I agree with it. Another one of those Rocketeer jerks. They're everywhere. 10 people saw that movie and all 10 of them just won't stop talking about it. I'll be a visionary one day. That's right. All right. Let's get into some more hot takes. Scott says they could bulldoze it and it would be Earth and WALL-E. Hey, if we keep going the way we're going, everything's going to look like the Earth and WALL-E. So that could be a free build. Tomorrowland will decade and a decade, and I think that'll probably be on time when there might be the next IP to put there. But I mean, I say don't rush it. Don't rush it. Take your time with it. Low and slow. That is the tempo. Minty 9998. There's always room for two more. Says reducing Magic morning time and limiting selection of rides is a bad move for hotel guests. Don't like it. I look at it this way, Minty. I'm not going to argue with you. It used to be an hour. Now it's 30 minutes. And now it's also fine print, select attractions. But I kind of think that the Magic morning, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, and granted, I don't stay at the hotels, and granted, I'm not a ride ripper. So this is kind of two genres away from the type of Disney parks fan that I am. But I feel like it's more of a head start. So it's not exactly about everything you get to do in that now 30 minutes. It used to be an hour. It's more that you're kind of getting ahead of everybody else. You do as much as you can until the masses show up. So it's a head start. It's not the full reward. I agree with you. Taking it down to 30 minutes and making last attractions, never a good look. But I don't feel like it was ever this unbelievable experience where you could get the whole day in. You're maybe going to be able to only get 3 or 4 small things done when maybe you could get 5 or 6. But I think the real advantage is while everybody else is still parking their car, putting shoes on their kids that don't want to wear shoes, and trying to get through the gate because, like I said, there's people like, oh, I was supposed to bring a ticket. Hold on, it's on my phone. Let me see where it's at. You're already in there and you're already ripping. And you're close to where you need to be for 8 a.m. when the park goes wide open or 9 a.m. So, yeah, could it be better? Always. But I could kind of see that it's just intended to get you in there faster. You're not supposed to be able to do it all in that moment. Baby fire. Baby fire. Let's see, what else did I get? NF says, when will Splash close? Will Disney give us a date or avoid this? I'm excited about the refurb, but I'm wondering when we'll start missing the log ride. I would say, oh yeah, they're going to let you know. They're also probably going to try to merchandise it, which is kind of wild because it's like, oh, it's too bad to stay around, but not so bad to sell some more merch. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how big of a deal that they make out of it, but you will know the date. It won't be like people will just go there on a random Monday and there'll be walls around it. People will know. People will have a heads up to get that last splash and cruise through the briar patch. But it'll be interesting to see, do they stay on brand with their message that it needs to be replaced and stay away from merchandising it? Or is it too temptation? Is the temptation too irresistible to pull that sweet fruit off of the vine known as merchandise? We'll see. To be determined. JT says, take a second to back out of the chat, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, then come back to chat and rejoin the fun. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate people hitting the thumbs up. It does help. I appreciate people subscribing to the channel. That helps too. I appreciate people joining Club 1313. That helps too. Larry says, Walt Disney World would get those merch fists anyways. See, part of a conversation. That's what happens when I just go in blind in the middle of one. Let's see. Where's one here? Chaotic Galaxy says their own hot take, which I encourage you to share your own hot takes. I know I'm the hottest boy in the chat, but we can always add other ones in. Chaotic Galaxy says, hot take, get Star Wars out of Tomorrowland, and yes, that includes Star Tours. I'm fine with Star Tours leaving. I'm totally fine. 2 Star Wars simulator attractions. I don't think we need it. I would like to see the Star Wars building get put to a better use. But once again, I'm fine with it sitting there for another 10 years until there becomes the master move of Tomorrowland. So yeah, it doesn't bother me in the short term because of the timeline. Some things don't fit in Tomorrowland. And if you give me my options of Darth Vader and Chewbacca in Launch Bay or nothing in Launch Bay, I'm going to take something over nothing. And same would be said with Star Tours. I'd prefer Star Tours over nothing, but over the long term, I don't think it needs to be there. But see, I don't think it needs to be black or white. I think there's plenty of room for gray. Is Tomorrowland broken? Yes. Could it be better? Absolutely. Does it need to happen tomorrow? I don't think so. Can we put some temporary things in there to make it fun? Absolutely. I feel like there's wiggle room in there. So I'm going to give you, and your hot take, a little bit of fire for long-term thinking, but not enough fire for short-term thinking. Thank you, Chaotic Galaxies, for sharing your hot take. I appreciate it, bud. Albert, Brickey, do you know if Disneyland will have new Oogie Boogie shirts this year? You think they're going to miss the opportunity to sell something new? Get out of here. They'll sell you your blouse. There's actually going to be a new program where you can give them your shirt and then they sell it back to you. It's called the Oogie Boogie Twice Owned Blouse, and it's available right now for pre-order. Of course, Albert. Of course they're going to be making boogie blouses, and I cannot wait to see you get one. Wade says, hot take, I'm actually saving money by buying Disney trips using today's dollars for visits as far out as I can book them. Oh, look at this guy. Long-term investor in vacations. Not a bad hot take. That's what a lot of companies do. They take their money that they make today and they stockpile it, waiting for that money to be worth more. Apple's done that with billions of dollars. JT says, I'd be okay if Star Tour goes, if they expand trips you can take on Smuggler's Run. I was talking about this with Larry when we were hanging out doing our 1313 meetup Friday night. I'm fine if I never ride Smugglers again. If somebody comes in from out of town and they really want to ride it, I'll ride it. If friends really want to rip it, I'll rip it. If they add new scenes to it, I'll do it. But I'm content. I've smuggled, bro. To me, it is not a real compelling attraction. And it's like the subs. I plan on never riding the subs again, but I'll always admire their beauty and love where they're at the park and understand their place in the Disneyland ride ecosystem. To me, Smuggler's Run is way more about getting that Millennium Falcon that I literally go look at every time I go to the resort. It always takes my breath away. It always gives me childhood nostalgia, and I don't care if I don't do a deal with Hondo. So yeah, I would love to see all of the digital rides get updated. But Disneyland and Imagineering, they're a lot like a guy that's going through a midlife crisis because they think, oh, I need the sports car. If I get the sports car, my life will feel fulfilled. So they build the sports car, which is Smuggler's Run. But then, like a guy in a midlife crisis, they're like, but now I need a place for all my superheroes. So then they build Web Slingers. And in the process, they never make their way back to Web Slingers or Smuggler's Run. And then they go on to the next thing and they never make their way back to Web Slingers. It's like they're always moving on to the next thing. It's like, what about some new screens in Midway Mania, which I think is the superior video game ride? If you said right now, Brickey, I can cut the line for you on Smuggler's Run, Web Slingers, Buzz Blasters, or Midway Mania. Which arcade game would you like to ride? Midway Mania. It's the best. It's the most fun. It's the most tactile. And by cutting the line in this scenario, I don't have to go into the poop room, which is the worst room in the entire Disneyland Resort. You know what I'm talking about. You start outside, then you go in that boxy room with the ceiling fans and the blinking lights and the crying kids, and it always smells like a dirty diaper. Disneyland has a reputation of sometimes smelling like there's too much poop in the pipes. That room is the worst smelling room in the resort. So the only bad thing about Midway Mania is having to endure the poop room. You let me skip the poop room, I'm riding that ride all day long. Pablo says, Smuggler's Run is fun. I wish they have more missions like they advertise. True. And I also do wish that, remember these speeches? It's going to be called Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. And when you ride it, we will track your score and it will follow you around your trip to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And when you go into Oga's Cantina, somebody might be mad at you and owe some credits because of the damage you did to the Falcon. Reality. I just wrote it. Now what? Nothing. You rode the ride. It's over. Get out of here. Go on. Okay, let's see here. Now, this is the hottest take I've seen yet. James says the poop room is the best room at the resort. Hot take. James, more power to you, because from now on, I'm going to refer to you as Disneyland G.G. Allen. Whoa, Adam testing the waters. Hey guys, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but Star Wars is currently more fun than Smuggler's Run. Adam, don't ever apologize for your hot take. You come in here, guns a-swinging, letting everybody know this is the hottest of hot takes. I agree with your hot take. Once again, cast member says, Brickley. It's Brickey. Brickley. It's Brickey. Would you like to go ride Smuggler's Run, no wait, or Star Tours, no wait? Star Tours all day. I take Star Tours over Millennium Falcon all the time. I like the variety of it. I like the more communal vibe of it. And I like that it feels more real and less video gamey. Because I'm not a gamer, bro. I am far from a gamer. So, Adam, this is what's most important to me, though. Don't ever apologize. Listen to me, baby girl. Don't you ever apologize for a hot take. The hotter it is, the harder you stand. Let it go. Adam, I can see you're a caterpillar, but one day you'll be a hot butterfly like me. Instantly regret that. All right, I'll say it with my chest. Star Tours is better. I have mentored another man. I love it. Richard says Mario World opened within a year at Hollywood Universal. Yeah, and I think whatever reaction Disneyland will have is probably 5 years off. Like I said at the beginning, there's an arrogance that comes with Apple Computer, right? There's an arrogance that comes with Tesla. There's an arrogance that comes with the Walt Disney Corporation. These companies that see themselves as being in first place, they don't feel like they have to compete with their competition. They allow the competition to make moves, they sit back, assess them, and then they make their counter move years later. So anybody that thinks that Mario World is going to make something immediately happen out of the Disneyland Resort, I just don't see it that way. I've never seen it that way. I always love looking at the park historically. They will sit back, they will observe it, they will see how long people fall in love with it, and then they will make their counter move. And I pray that it's not Pandora. Hot take from Peter. The Oriental Land Company should take the reins with the domestic Disney parks. They have done such a good job with Tokyo Disney. Why not? Ooh. Hot take. This guy's like, I don't drive American parks. I only drive international parks. How to answer this one? Because you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Think about it. The international parks have been bold and ambitious, but they've also started off with clean slates. I kind of feel like this is the way the international parks work. When you spend your own money, I know you, Peter, you're conservative. When you go out to eat, you go, salad or appetizer. You don't get both. But when you throw down the company card, you're like, oh, 2 cocktails, appetizers with an S, and the salad, and the entree, and 2 desserts. And I think when Disneyland, or when Disney Imagineering is designing for the Oriental Land Company, they go, third tab. Let's spend some money on these fools. But when it's their own park, it comes out of their own bonuses, and so therefore I think they're a little conservative. To me, that's the way that it sees it happens. Always easier to spend somebody else's money than your own. And I think that's why they get so wild when it comes to the Asian parks, because it seems like money is no issue. I like that take. But I don't want them jobs going away from Americans. Scary Gary says, I think the answer to that hot take is yes. OLC is good for catering to the Japanese market, but would have issues in the USA. Yeah, I kind of think it's more of a spending and budgeting thing. I don't think it's necessary that OLC has like a better vision. I just think they have a better budget. And I think Walt Disney Imagineering goes crazier because it is their budget. And I think everything in the US gets micromanaged because it directly comes out of their pockets. It's essentially like the difference if you're a freelancer. If you make and sell your own product, you're very, very nervous about it because those are your profit margins. But when you get hired to do work for a client, you're like, I don't give a shit. It's their money. They want to spend it that way. Yeah. They want a matte black with an embossed gloss hit. Let them do it. It's not my money. I don't care. And then when you do your own, you're like, one color, it's too expensive. So I think it becomes a budgeting thing. Brett says, hot take. Disney in recent years has disappointed more times than executed to expectations. For you, Brett, I think this is really an eye of the beholder. And I also think that Disney is in a weird situation where fans have unmanageable expectations. I feel like everything at the Walt Disney parks has become like New Year's or prom, where people are like, it's going to be perfect. I'm going to go there. I'm going to have the best time ever. And everything's going to be pristine and it's going to be just like the way I imagine it. And that's simply not realistic expectations. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, for some, beat their expectations and was amazing. For others, it was a huge disappointment. I think it really depends on where your mind is at and what you expect. And also, are you looking like I do at the lands? I think Galaxy's Edge is a great start. I think Avengers Campus is a great start. If those lands are exactly like they are today, 10 years from now, then I'll tell you they didn't meet my expectations. But I see both of these lands as a stage, and this stage will keep telling new and different stories. I don't see them like New Orleans Square, which I love, but New Orleans Square is a box. It's a box where they store their New Orleans themed attractions, and it stays the same every year. New Orleans Square will probably be pretty similar in 2030 as it was in 1970. It's designed to be this thing. It's a box. It's a display. But I think the new lands, starting with Galaxy's Edge and going over to Avengers Campus, they're alive. And so maybe it didn't hit your expectations in Act 1, but the story is still being told. And I think it's also become very popular to be disenchanted, to be upset. And there's a lot of people that do really, really well on rage media. And I think that programs people to be disappointed. I'll tell you right now, Brett, not everything I see I think is perfect. I can often see room for it to get better, but I can also often see how over time it will get better. Try to keep in mind that the park is a living, breathing thing, and the way it is today is not the way it will be tomorrow. So I do believe this is an eye of the beholder. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm going to give you a little flame, but I'm also not going to tell you that everybody agrees with you or that I think that you're 100% right. I think it's an instance by instance. So far, I've been mostly pleased with things. Kind of feels like we're over some of the pandemic bumps, and I go into D23 optimistically cautious. Spell that 10 times fast. All right, let's see here. Brett says, obviously COVID has presented a huge issue, but what Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be versus what it is. Not going to argue that, but we don't know if those things are coming. We don't know the full effect of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge yet. If it stays the way that it is, then I will 100%, I'll come over to your house and I'll hug you and tell you, Brett, you were right. You were so right all along. But I do hope that it can grow and morph. And I have seen them experimenting with some things. Like since Avengers Campus opened up, I have been in there enough times to see characters on stages I've never seen before. I do think that they're toying with it. And I do think that instead of giving the kid all of their Christmas gifts at once, maybe give them some things now and some things later, and then they're grateful for all the things that they get. See, Brett and I coming together. Brett and I coming together. All right, let's see here. Let's go over to the comments from the community chat. Miguel says, how did Oogie Boogie sell out so fast? What are your thoughts on Magic Key passes? Will prices go up? Is it sales strategy move to not allow upgrades on current passes? Well, this is a lot of questions, and I'll take them all. How did Oogie Boogie sell out so fast? It's awesome. And people are starting to realize that the after-hour parties are the actual best value at the park. If you haven't seen the video that I did where we went to the grad night, which was a completely dumb theme, but we had an amazing time. So I kind of start to think now it doesn't matter what the theme of the parties are. It's more about the limited amount of people that are there and the way that the park runs. So I think a lot of people have seen videos, heard people like me preach just how great Oogie Boogie Bash is. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. But also there was 23 dates this year instead of 26. And I also hope that this means that they're not selling more tickets than the way they should so that it truly feels exclusive. I did a video on Magic Key Passes. It's a video. Which video is that? Oh, it's the video that says, why are Magic Key Passes paused? And my prediction is this: they're not selling any more passes because there is a significant price hike that's getting ready to come. And if you think about it, the last time that they raised prices would have begun at the beginning of 2019. So 2020, there was no new price hike. 2021, no new price hike, which gets us to 2022, 3 years, they're ready for a price hike. So if we pull back these price hikes, that means that this one right here is going to probably be significant. See, these are all the price hikes. See how this price hike is the tallest? That price hike is going to probably be pretty significant because they haven't done it in 3 years. So the reason why they've paused it is they don't want you to get in on this price right here. No, it's this price because this is 2019. They don't want you to get in on 2019 because they want you to pay this price hike. So I believe that's what's happening with the Magic Keys. Just simple infographic hand use. Maybe you've seen people do it before. My friend Karen says, can't wait. Coming in September for my first Oogie Boogie Bash. I hope you have as much fun as I've promised you that it would be. Let's see here. What else do we have? Got a little bit more time to take maybe 1 or 2 more hot takes before I get out of here and go do the Club 1313 members only cool down stream, positivity stream. You don't mean that. You don't mean that. I've heard people say this. Avengers Campus is a downgrade compared to Bugs Land. It's not. Let me remind you guys. Bugs Land was horrible. Tough to be a bug. You see it once, you're done with it. You only do it again if you bring somebody in from out of town. Like, they're not going to know that they're going to get their bump butt. Did you run around and play in the faucet and the big Band-Aid? No. Did you ride Flix Flyers? No. Those bumper cars were the worst. Those were legal bumper cars. Those bumper cars had lawyer written. Well, technically they shouldn't be bumper cars. They should be almost bump into bars because technically if we let people bump into each other, we are held responsible for any damage that somebody should do. So let's just make sure that the cars can get adjacent to one another, but not actually bump. Worst bumper cars ever. The only thing that you could actually say that you miss is the choo-choo train. And my bangs looked horrible there. I still have hair. It's just pressed down from the hat. The choo-choo train was the best. But you be honest with me, Disney World vacationer with your cool vest. Is that a vest? I've always thought your icon was a vest, but now I'm seeing it's like a little dude head. I always thought that was like a vest. But why would your vest have nipples? Anyways, you're just trying to be flashy, and I appreciate it. But you don't mean that. Take it back. But I do mean it, Brickey. The greenery, the sounds, they were beautiful. I sat in the land and took it all in on most of my visits. Avengers Campus, I don't go back to and hang out. I don't go for the rides. I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide because you wear this vest. And in my mind, you're like one of those outdoor photographer type guys, you know? Lens this long to shoot a bird this big.
There is the rare yellow beaked Avengers Campus. I see it over there. Luckily I have enough rolls of film in my vest that I can capture this rare bird.
I'll let it slide because you're playing up to my vibes. Like, oh, I know how to get Brickey. I'll tell him about the vibes and not rides, and then he won't slam me. Well played. You win this round, Disney World Vacationer. You win this round. Okay. That makes sense. But could you also see it as a vest? You can also see it as a vest though, right? Come on. Right? I mean, you can see this as a vest. See me now wearing my little vest? Oh, look at me. I hate Avengers Campus because I'm a bird photographer. Oh, what's the matter with me? Why does anybody watch this channel? No wonder it sucks. All right, friends. I want to thank you all for joining me for another round of hot takes. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed seeing me wear Disney World Vacationer's vest. I think this is where we end today. Thank you, Matt Klein. It was a beautiful vest. I think that this is where we end today. And I want to thank you all for your very, very nice comments last week. And I want to thank you for coming and doing the hot takes with me. I do have a Disneyland for Designers podcast that I'm trying to get out. It's a long episode, so it'll probably be getting posted late tonight or first thing tomorrow morning. But yeah, I've got videos planned all throughout the week. So thank you for your sweet messages and thank you for showing up and doing hot takes with me. This has really become a fun part of the week, just doing this friendly exchange and getting into all the different things and really treating our beloved Disney parks as sports radio. Thank you guys so much for showing up. And if you're a Club 1313 member, I'll see you in a few minutes right now as we do the cool down, our members only stream, our positivity stream, and maybe by then I'll have another sick vest on from my friend Walt Disney World Vacationer. Thank you guys so much for showing up. I hope you had fun on today's hot takes. I'll be back here to do this with you again next Monday, but so much content between now and next Monday. Appreciate you.